Brand new Nokia Lumia 9 625 smartphone, which we'll take a closer look at now. Not only hands-on video, but some features, a little bit of comparison. And you can see already in the background we have quite a few colors also available soon here for this product. For example, this nice little St. Patrick's Day green, for example. Then we have black, white, yellow and orange. Orange is the flagship color, so that will be the main color for the advertisers. It looks quite interesting. Of course the white one is also looking quite good, as you can see here, and otherwise the regular yellow one. All of these are matte, none of them will be glossy when it comes to market. And so let's start with the 625. What can it do? Why is it called 625 and why has it a 4.7-inch screen then? So we have of course this beautiful big device now coming out for €299 euros, and I think even US dollars, or even British pounds, of course a little bit cheaper, but it has a big screen of 4.7 inches. How come? So Nokia thought that even low-end devices should have big screens, since people want big screens and it's not a bad thing to have a big and bright screen. Bright therefore, since we are here outside in direct sunlight, as you can see here, maybe even, and you can see everything on the screen, so it's still nicely visible. But for this price you only get a resolution of 800 x 180 pixel. So 800 x 180 pixel is not that much, but you can still see everything nicely, and the pixel per inch are still above 200, so it also looks quite good even when you go a little bit closer. Otherwise, of course, we have the regular Windows buttons here on the bottom. There is nothing here on the sides except for headphone. The different buttons here for volume control, on and off switch, camera, and micro USB on the bottom. So the SIM card and the micro SD goes right below the cover. I can show you that on the white version. You can just take out the device out of the case, and then you can see it right away. Micro SIM and micro SD goes in here. Inside there is 8 gigs of memory, which we can therefore upgrade, and there's about 4 gigs of usable memory actually inside, and otherwise the battery is not interchangeable, which is kind of sad. But we have also 5 megapixel camera and a flashlight here on the back. Also a speaker, which is quite important, of course, if you want to listen to music without headphones or just watch a movie with friends. And on the front we have a VGA camera with 1.3 megapixels, which is also quite nice. You can wake up the device by just holding the camera button, and then you can right away here shoot a few pictures. If we are already here in the camera mode, I can show you that even from the sides you can see everything is looking quite nice. From the bottom it's a little bit dark, but from the top also looking good. But of course you will usually look at the screen just from the front. If you go to the front camera, you can see here that it's also with the 1.3 megapixel VGA quite sharp. If my camera would be sharp, it would be even better. So you can see that of course it does nice pictures, and we actually can just shoot one by tapping the screen. And of course my mouth was open, so I do dash cheese. There we go, and then you can just check out here the results. Zoom in and out, so you can see it's quite fast, even though we only have a dual core 1.2 megapixel a dual core 1.2 gigahertz, not megapixel, 1.2 gigahertz processor inside, and only 512 megs of RAM, but still quite a beautiful device to shoot photos. You can even see here also looking quite sharp with 5 megapixel on the back, which also shoots HD video. So before we go on, let's do a little bit of a comparison marathon. I have a bunch of devices here which I want to show you, which are in the same price range, maybe above a little bit also. You can see here in the background I have quite a few. And also let's start with one of the most expensive ones, just to get a feeling for you guys how big the device is. So with the Apple iPhone 5 compared, of course the 4.7-inch device by Nokia, the 625, is bigger. If I put them just on the top of each other, you can see here also on the side we have quite a lot of space, and on the top also. Otherwise in thickness you can see here that there is well, again, a lot of space, but in terms of thickness they are about the same. Price range, of course, half the price. Then we have one similar device by Nokia, which is the Lumia 925, not 625. This is a little bit smaller in screen size, but also smaller in case size, a few millimeters maybe to the top. But if I put them onto each other, you will right away see that in the width they are the same, in height also. and you can see here what I was talking about, that we have here a few millimeters in difference. Otherwise it looks quite good on both devices actually here. And we have on the future, on the finished model, also here the option to have here the time shown even in standby. This is just a pre-production model, that's why we don't have that. Right now we can just, for example, just double tap it to unlock the screen. That will be available soon also in the finished product. So a little bit of a cheaper device, not high-end, maybe even the same price range soon, is the Sony Xperia SP, which has a 4.6-inch screen, so smaller. It's also thicker. Because the battery is quite big. In the Lumia 925 it's 2000 milliamps, I think in the SP also about 2200, but you can see there's quite a difference here there. But what's missing in the Nokia Lumia 625 is NFC, because it's cheaper and so slim, and there's also no wireless charging inside, but there is NFC of course in the Sony Xperia SP. Then we have here a little bit of a more expensive device, but same size maybe even. This is the Huawei S10P6 with 4.6 inches, or actually it's even 4.7, I'm sorry. 4.6 was the SP. So if I put them onto each other, of course this is the slimmest smartphone in the world right now by Huawei. Quite nice looking, but actually a little bit higher. If I just put them on the same spot here, you can see it maybe a millimeter or two higher, the Huawei. And looking at it from the front, you can see here also there is quite some space here in wideness, but of course again this costs $449 and this is only $300, so 50% more price. Then we have a premium device again, which is the Sony Xperia ZL 5-inch Full HD, again about $400 to $500 right now in store. It's thicker, bigger, and Android, and of course a lot higher range in hardware, but not as nice looking with all these nice colors. Only black and white is I think available, but what's available in more colors, and you probably know a little bit better, is the Samsung Galaxy S4. So the S4, as you can see, is higher again. Screen is of course bigger with 5-inch, and thickness they are about the same. As you can see here maybe on the bottom, it's a little bit bigger here, the Samsung, and if I just put them really on top of each other, you can see that it's the Samsung is a really little bit higher. And otherwise we have here the Sony Xperia L, one of the cheaper devices, 4.3 inches. I think it should be about the same price range, but you can see here again Nokia is bigger. Depending on what you want, of course, that's good or bad. Otherwise in size it's a little bit bigger also here to the side, but in terms of thickness there is no winner, I would say, because there's quite a different form factor. So let's go back here to the Nokia Lumia 625, which is almost a premium device, but of course you only have not that high of a resolution. Let me just clean the display a little bit here, and let's turn the device on. I have sweaty hands today since it's quite warm outside, so if I turn the device on, you can see right away, of course we have Windows Phone 8 installed, and there is LTE actually inside this device, so you can't really call it a low budget, rather a mid-budget device. We can see here, of course, everything is running quite smoothly with 512 megabytes of RAM, even no hiccups at all. Everything looks really quite good. So what we can show you, of course, is first that it also supports English language. I just haven't changed it before. I'm sorry for that, but it's of course quite easy to switch German to English. And it told me something about downloading. I don't want to download. I'll just use regular English. Okay. Yeah, it would have, it needs to restart, so I won't do that right now. Let's just go on here with the device. For example, we have here, for example, the keyboard layout. Of course, you can switch between different languages here also, German and English. Now we have English, and you can really type quite quickly. There is no lag at all. What you can of course also do is flip the screen, and again here, no lagging at all, really quite fast. Let's just go back and delete the message here. I don't want to send this gibberish. Let's go back, and then you can also see here We have apps like WhatsApp now on Windows Phone 8, Runtastic, everything that's important and you would use every day. And exclusive to Nokia, there's quite a few apps. For example, here the Nokia Cinemagraph. But what I actually want to show you is another app, which is right here under KLMN, the Nokia SmartCam, which is quite interesting to shoot moving people. Let me just go here into the learning program. Or help program, I don't know what's it called in German. So you can just tap the screen, take 10 pictures of a person while they're moving around, and then you can choose the best one depending on which one you like. You can shoot also the same thing with action, so that you have one person more than one time in the picture. You can shoot it that way that only one person is sharp in the picture, which is also looking quite nice. If not everybody is looking good on a picture, or the 10 pictures that you would have chosen one from, you can just select the face and then just change the face on each of them from the 10 pictures to choose the best one. And what you can also do is delete people. Bam, he's gone, since there's often a few people in the background or in the foreground that you just want to get rid of, since they don't fit in the picture. I have I think already shown you the camera quality, which is quite good. Of course, Nokia features like Nokia Music for music streaming completely for free, like Spotify, but for free really, is in here. Express browser is quite nice to use less megabyte. And still have a nice browsing experience, which is also of course faster. We have a full Office package on here, which you can also use as on any other Windows phone. And actually I have to go a little bit more up to tell you about something like Nokia Here Maps and Nokia Transit, for example. Nokia Here is quite nice since it's an offline map software. You can just download, for example, Germany or Munich or anything like that. I can ask the app where I am. There you can see I am right there. That's the postal code and Munich. I'm sitting here in a beer garden, as you can see, and I can just see, okay, here's the next metro station. I could go just this way. You can just tap it also, and I can just ask the device how to go there the best way. My route planner also gives me point-to-point directions, go to left, go to right, and of course, as I said, it's also all available in English. And you can ask it, of course, also not by walking, but by driving with the car, if that's also here possible. And it even tells me it's only 1 minute by car and 6 minutes by foot, and it's 365 meters. And what's actually even better of an app, I would say, if you are in a big city where you have a lot of transit, for example, there is the Nokia Here Transit app, where I can choose here, also the location here, and I just want to go, for example, to the subway in the Kryla Street, which is close to where I live. And then you can see it already with internet support. It tells me to walk a little bit, take the S4 subway, and then walk again a bit. You can of course choose the tram also, or another subway, and you can see of course also when I would arrive in how many minutes. And let's just see here how it would go perfectly. My point where I am, I have to walk 400 meters to the subway, take the subway with the direction Ebersberg, get out at Trudering and walk again 11 minutes, and I can just hit here my ending point, my point of interest, and you can see here again it opens up here map, where it shows me how I have to walk really from the subway to my or from the subway to eat. And I could also say I want to start navigation, and then it opens up again here the here map, where it shows me okay where I have to walk to the all the way. Okay, that's quite interesting. Yeah, exactly. It would tell me, okay, this is the whole route, and it can, of course, tell me also how to get there by foot. Then, of course, we have apps like DataSense, which is quite great, where we can check out how many megabytes of traffic we had before. We have Wi-Fi traffic, of course, also built in, so you can tell the device if you are not here that it's no problem, or not in the same country, that you only have like 15 or 20 megabytes in another country, to stop using your data traffic, and then you don't have any extra charges for really quite a high amount of money usually if you're roaming. So this is also a quite nice app, but there's of course a lot more inside Windows phone 8 with Nokia, like for example my Taxi and everything like that is now also available with 175,000 apps. Even the Lufthansa app is now available since a few weeks. So thank you much for watching. I hope you liked my little first hands-on review with the Nokia Lumia 625, which has LTE, 4.7 inch screen, big battery inside, micro SD, good camera on the back, on the front with flash, and maybe even a good battery life. I'm not sure yet, this is just a pre-production device, but the color range is also quite good, as you can see. So I hope you got a good idea of this phone itself. Till next time, please send it again. My name is Balazs Gar, thank you much for watching.